All right, we are live. Awesome. Want to welcome everybody to another segment of Destination Health Podcast. You've seen me a couple of times today so far, and I figured why not do one more? And I'm really excited about a conversation today that we've had. We have Cheryl Mears on. She's an IFBB pro bodybuilder. And this is our fourth segment that we've done in the last couple of weeks. And this story is just quite amazing, where breast cancer, chronic diseases, and she's got props today to show us a little bit about what happened to her. She almost died, and this is such a great, heartwarming story, because you can really overcome anything that you want as long as you put your mind to this. And Cheryl's from New Jersey, so she gets to come on anytime she wants to come on. And if anybody has any questions, for those of you that are listening today, if you have any questions, okay, I have my cell phone here, and please ask away so that we can answer your questions. You can ask just about anything you want to Cheryl. So guys, keep it clean, okay? And
thank you for that.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, keep it clean, right? And this is just quite an amazing story. So Cheryl, give us a little, 1 minute synopsis, all of these conditions that just basically just came crashing down on you.
A 1 minute synopsis is so hard, but
yeah, go ahead. You have
in my early 20s. I developed a chronic illness called ulcerative chronic colitis. It was one of the most aggressive forms out there, and it took over my life. My life had changed drastically at an early age of 20 years old. That progressed until my mid-30s, to where it was there was no quality of life. I had my colon removed back then. About 15 years later, I developed triple negative breast cancer, battled that for about a year. And at that time, I was actually going for my pro card. And in the middle of the prep, of course, I had to stop and battled that. And then recently, last year, about 5 weeks out from competing at another show, I had some intestinal problems, or my stomach was hurting. And I woke up a week later, 3 emergency surgeries, almost died. Most of my intestines were removed, and a permanent ileostomy for the rest of my life.
Right.
Wow. So
So
that's synopsis as best as I can, but there's a lot of details in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, I mean, and we've gone over a lot of those details in the first 3 podcasts. So if you haven't listened to the first 3 podcasts, you can go to the YouTube channel that we have, or you can find them right here, okay, on my personal Facebook page. You can go to Nutrition of Manalapan, Goldman Family Chiropractic, Suburban Wellness Group, Nutrition of Westfield, my other businesses. They're all on there, and you can just scroll and you can listen to them, because this is really fascinating. And you can see the pictures that I have posted, that Cheryl has shared with me, of where she was last year and now where she is today. And it's really quite remarkable what she has done. And what did you say to me before we got on? We were talking, this is like your superhero. This is your superpower. Because of this, you're just a superhero, right? So what does that mean to you?
What it means to me, it actually gave me strength. It gave me more strength to be a more powerful person, to actually have more self-esteem. And people who know what an ileostomy is probably looking at me like crazy, because for those that don't know, an ileostomy is where you have a bag on your stomach, and that's where you literally poop for the rest of your life. That's how you go to the bathroom. So, it's a matter of changing the bag. Your abs are not seen, or most of them. I mean, one of them's not seen because of the bag. And so people go, well, how do you find that as a superpower? And I really find that as my strength, because this saved my life. Without it, I wouldn't be here today. So what? I think we're having some technical difficulty.
There you go. We're ready. We're back on.
All right, we're ready.
There we go.
So anyway, so this saved my life. And so even though it saved my life, it doesn't mean I have to stop living my life. So whenever I see this and I show it, I won't say I show it off, but it's part of me. Whenever I go to the gym and I'm wearing a half shirt, it's being seen. I look at it as my strength because I overcame a near-death experience. I'm still here. And I feel that I'm better today than I was before all of this happened. Because sometimes in life, bad things happen and we look at the negative, but we never look at the positives and how can we become better from that situation? Because life's all about growing and changing and moving on. So I looked at what can I gain out of this?
Yes.
And the one thing I never did was put expectations. I never said I had to do this, this, and this. I just kept recovering, getting better, and had faith that something great was going to happen out of this.
Right.
And it has. It's really changed my life.
In some specifically, how has this changed your life?
This has changed my life because it's made me more independent. It's made me more self-confident in my abilities. It's given me more strength because people now are looking to me for inspiration. And that gives me strength to keep going on. Because the more that I can do to show you that you can overcome, that gives me strength. So that's really how it's changed me. So I live my life now to help others through my struggles. Before I didn't feel as confident to do that, but now you're like in 1,000% there.
Right. And that happens a lot. You know, you go through a life-altering situation and then you want to serve. You know, you want to serve high, you know, the highest form of living is serving. You want to serve and you do have that passion. We do have a bunch of people watching us today. And if anybody has any questions, all right, for Cheryl, please put them in and I'll make sure that she gets them and we'll discuss anything that you want to discuss. So, you know, having this superpower, you were able to defy the odds. You overcame obstacles. You're how many weeks out now from going
5 weeks out from show?
Because, so, you know, I have clients that are IFBB and NPC, males and females. I mean, you're going to be judged on your physique, every centimeter, every inch of your body, Cheryl.
Exactly.
They're going to look at and they're going to say, develop her shoulders more for the next show, or maybe this, or whatever that is.
Exactly.
Tell me, what is that like now for you with everything?
I apologize for that.
That's okay.
1 second.
That's okay. So as you know,
I am so sorry. I got to get up and either let them go or take them out. I apologize.
Let them go. Go ahead. Go for it.
Let them go then. It's just the mailman's delivering and they're going crazy, but they'll calm down in a minute. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Doing a podcast. That's okay. I was doing a podcast the other day and I have a 18-month-old cockapoo who's probably 15 pounds. They were asking questions like, is he like, you know, a ferocious guard dog? And I was like, no, he's tiny. So anyway, you're going on stage. What does that look like for you? Okay. Andrea has asked a question. We'll get to that in a second. What does that look like for you going on stage to be judged now?
Yes, exactly. And you know, honestly, right now, when I'm going to be judged, of course, I'm going to have that bag on my stomach and there's nothing they can do, you know, I can do about that. I feel more confident with that bag than other areas of my body. I'm like,
Awesome.
man, my shoulders may be too small or my glutes may need to be tightened. And I'm always focused on that. But the one thing I'm never focused on is my ostomy bag, because I feel confident that's the best that I'm going to be there. So let me focus on other things, where most people would be focused on the ostomy bag and going, you know, that's hiding an ab. What if it leaks? What if something happens? I'm not even focused on that. I'm confident I'm going to rock that thing on stage. I'm focused on everything else that I should be, because with chronic illnesses and things like that, we tend to focus on the negative part about it. We need to get away from that and focus on the positive things in our life. There's nothing I could do to change this. It's part of me. And if you don't like it, tough, don't look at me. But I'm not going to make this a negative thing. So I'm going to rock it on stage.
You're not going to let anybody stop you from doing what you have to do, because we're becoming like these, this BFF here, and really I'm all about, and I had said this to my son this week, I'm all about lessons. So I have a 13-year-old. I know you have children that are older. And so it's all about the lessons that you teach them in life. And this is something that is a major lesson for not only the young, but for those that are older, 20s, 30s, even I'm about to rock 60. I mean, this is something that you can take and you can use, because life doesn't end at 60, whether you have something or you don't have something, right? And listen, I have heart disease. I'm not stopping either. And I understand what you're saying by meaning that this is your superpower, because it's my superpower too, the way that you put that. And I totally agree with you. So thank you for saying that. So Andrea does have a question. She wants to know, how did you use nutrition as a tool for recovery? I'm going to say for both the UCC, the surgery, for the breast cancer. What did you do?
Actually, I think it's quite funny, because I truly believe in nutrition. I won't say always have, because when I was growing up, I ate junk food and all that kind of stuff. So it was probably around 7 years ago or so that I really believe that nutrition changed my life and made things better. Okay. So when I went through this, my mindset was strong to say, I need to eat clean. I know that's valuable, because anytime you're in a sick situation or whatever, that's really critical to your, to living in your care and so forth. So anyway, after I recovered from surgery and I was coherent on what was going on and they allowed me to eat, this is a true story. And I still have the text message today, because I thought, it is just like incredible. I remember seeing the plate of food that they gave me at the hospital, and I'm like, this is crap. I'm not eating this. So I texted my daughter. I said, I need you to stop at my gym and pick up some protein powder and some protein bars. Now, I know that's not the most healthiest thing, but again, this is during COVID. I can't have much things in my room, and I can't even have visitors. So I'm thinking, what's the best thing that I can do to get my health up and so forth? So I drank the protein shakes, I ate the protein bars, and I had to do it slowly, because remember, most of my intestines are gone. So my body had to get used to food. So I had to do everything slowly. And any meals that they brought me that had some consistency of some kind of nutrition, I mean, the slop, like the meatloaf and stuff like that, but occasionally you'd get a good piece of chicken. Okay. I'll eat that. So that's what I did for my nutrition. I had the protein stuff, and then I would pick at the food that they were able to give me. So that's how I started to recover in the hospital. Now, again, I was in the hospital for 2 months. So I had to endure their nutrition on time, or occasionally my family was able to bring me some food, and I would eat that as well. So my mind was clear, even though my body was failing me and all those things. Every time I thought about food, my brain was focused and programmed, you eat as clean as possible. And so that's what I did.
Right. That is awesome. And that is, Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's awesome. And I'm looking at a picture right now that you had sent
Mhm.
me with you in the hospital. It looks like you had some
Yeah.
yellow slippers on, and yeah, you did have yellow slippers
Oh,
on.
those were the
And
socks. Yeah, those are the socks that they
yeah,
give you. Yeah.
and you could barely stand, and you're on this cart thing where you're holding on, and then a year later where you took some pictures, and boy, beauty, grace, majesty, all wrapped up
Yeah.
right there. You're looking good. You're feeling good. You ought to be in Hollywood type
Thank
of a
you.
situation. You're welcome.
Mhm.
And I'm leading into this question is, what was that specific time when you had these yellow socks on? What was that specific moment in time that you just bang, you were banging, the walls, whatever it was, and you said no? What was that specific moment in time? What was going through your mind? I don't know. You're from North Jersey. I'm from North Jersey. Did you hear the Rocky theme or something like that running through your mind? And
Um,
you just threw everything in the room and you said, I'm burning the boats. This is it. I'm
no, I
burning
really
the
wish I
boats.
could say that there was a song, but that emotion or that desire to live actually happened the day that I woke up from surgery. I don't know if it was from surgery, but I became conscious. Let's put it that
Mhm.
way. And that day, I'm not sure if I said this on another podcast, but I'll go ahead and repeat it if I did. When I woke up, I could barely see. I wasn't sure where I was. I knew I was in the hospital, but I didn't know what had happened to me at that point. But somebody had put my cell phone on my chest. And I remember holding it up. I had my phone and I went like this, but it was this close and I still couldn't see anything. That's how bad my eyesight was and everything.
Mhm.
And I remember just punching numbers and I called two people, not because I wanted to call these people specifically, but that's what I hit. And both of them started consoling me. They're like, Cheryl, they were just starting to say things like, we're sorry this happened. We're going to be here for you, that kind of like
Mhm.
doom and gloom, kind of thing. And my immediate response is, I don't know what happened. I'm going to get out of this, whatever it is. I had that mindset that I'm fighting it. I said, I'm going to walk out of this hospital. I'm going to live and I'm getting back on that stage someday. And I didn't say the stage because I think the stage is the ultimate goal in life,
Mhm.
but it was my, um, how can I'm trying to think of the right word. I'm sorry, but it was my motivation to get out of there. It was giving me strength because you got to remember, I was 5 weeks from show. I looked great. I was so close. And then everything just, the worst, thing could have happened.
Right.
And, so getting back on stage isn't the goal. Surviving is the goal. And that's what I wanted to do in that hospital room. So
Right.
when I overheard somebody say, poor thing, she's probably not going to last through the night, I didn't take that as a negative. And most people would have cried and just said, that's it. I said to myself, I'm getting out of this. Whatever the hell happened to me, I'm getting out
Right.
of this. And that's what my mindset was: fight, 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 right from the beginning. There was no question. And I'll tell you, it was not the easiest thing in the world to do. And there were nights, plenty of them, that I was crying, I was in pain. I could go on and on, but there was one thing that said, I will not give up. And I just kept going.
Uh, I think the metaphor to be on stage is that, you're going to be on the stage of life. What's going to bring you to the next level. And whether you're on
Right.
stage at a show, whether you're on stage at work, whether you're on stage, being a
True.
motivational speaker, which I think is in the future for you. I
Yes,
think
it
that
is.
that is, being, yeah, I think that's on stage, for you. The nights that were tough, the nights that were difficult,
Yes.
how was that for you?
You mean when I was in
What
the
was
hospital?
going through you when, you said that you had very difficult nights there where it wasn't
Oh
easy.
yeah.
Tell us about those difficult nights.
Um, you know, after, I was put into the hospital room and I was conscious, COVID happened. So this was time during COVID. There were no visitors allowed. So I spent weeks just by myself laying in a bed. I couldn't get up and the nurses weren't around. And I'd be in pain. And I'm by myself. You'd buzz the ringer and no one would come for hours. And you're still in pain, you're hungry. I have an ostomy, and unfortunately, it would fill up, and my bed would be full of stool for like hours at a time, and it was just it was just awful. But I just kept believing this will get better, and I just had to, keep my faith, keep as positive as I could be and optimistic. But imagine laying in the bed for
Right.
days at a time, staring at a wall. You're miserable, you're uncomfortable. Sometimes you're laying in your own, I'm sorry, poop, and there's nothing that you can do. And then the nurses finally come in and they act
Yeah.
like, oh, why didn't you call me? And it's my fault that I've done this. But I knew this would be temporary. I just
Right.
didn't know how long it was going to be. But there was a lot of mental strength that I gained through all of that. So when someone
Yeah.
says,
With
man, life's tough, and I'm like, compared to what? People just don't realize what tough really is.
Yeah, that there's all relative toughness, and what you go through,
Yeah,
you had to be the toughest, excuse me, of the toughest, because if you're not, then it just starts falling apart, and you wouldn't be here today. And
exactly.
that's quite amazing. And again, I'm just looking at a picture that you had sent me the other
Mhm.
day, where you're doing the tricep, pull downs, and it's just like
Oh, yeah.
from where you were in those yellow socks, Cheryl, to what you have now, the definition, the muscle mass, everything. It's just like, wow. It's just absolutely, absolutely incredible. Now I know that you have some props here. You show me some props. So
No,
let's go over some of the props
well,
that you have here, if you don't mind sharing.
no, not at all. I really wish I had something on that could show you my abs, but I don't at the moment. But I believe in promoting body positivity. Okay. And with having an ostomy, that is something I can do very easily. So I did a photo shoot last week, and I can't wait for the pictures to come out, because I want to show people that you can be proud with an ostomy, or any kind of, if you want to say deformity. I hate to say that word, but that's what a lot of people call it. But I just call it something that makes us unique in life.
I don't like the
So
word deformity, to be quite honest with you, because
honestly,
it's
I can't think of a
I
different
don't like.
word, but
Yeah, but you know what? It's right. It makes you, or anybody with anything that's
yeah.
different, it makes them unique. And that could be, like you said, a superpower at some point in time.
And that's the way I look at it. So I'm doing the photo shoot, and I really don't have a lot on. When you guys see the picture, you'll understand, because I wanted to show off my ostomy. That was the primary focus. So people, when they do a photo shoot, what do? What shoes, the hair, the clothes, all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff, think about. Well, for me, I have an ostomy. Okay. So we've got two things. We've got the big bag, okay, that I wear. And this is where, of course, all, my stool goes into and so forth. But if I plan it properly, where I'm not eating anything and nothing's coming out, for those that don't know, an ostomy is like having a faucet that drips all the time, very slowly. So you're constantly going.
Hmm.
And the challenge is, how do you stop that? Well, the only way you could stop it is by stop eating for several hours, and then maybe nothing really will come out. So they have what they call a cap. The stoma is where everything comes out.
Hmm.
So you put this over your stoma, it's a big. Obviously, this is smaller. So I had to plan my foods out. So when I went to the shoot, I was wearing this, but because I didn't eat anything, everything was done. I went into the hotel room and then I changed into this. So most people doing a photo shoot, this is not going to be part of your props, but for somebody with an ostomy, it is. But for people that have an ostomy that may feel ashamed of their body and would say, I can never do this, that's a bunch of BS. If I can do it, you can do it. So that's why I want to show this and share this, that these are the kind of things you just have to think about. But if you plan it right, you could do a photo shoot, have a smaller pouch on you, and look friggin' amazing. Okay. And I can't wait to show the photos. And honestly, when people see me in photos with something like this, they think it's a bandage. They don't even notice it's an ostomy. They go, oh man, you must have
thought it was a
your
bandage
ass.
too. To be honest with you, I thought it was a bandage too, because when I saw the difference, I said, oh, that's just like a little something, but no.
Exactly. Unfortunately, you can't wear this for a long time because there's really no storage. So once you start going, this will just pop off because there's just like so much. But you do have to protect that stoma because that is your intestine and it's hanging out. So you definitely want to cover it. So I'm glad they make stuff like this. And to be honest with you, I've got a lot of ideas that I'm trying to pass to these ostomy companies that I keep getting turned down because their feeling is, hey, you got an ostomy, you got a bag, you're good. And I'm like, hey, I want to be fashionable. So hopefully I can make some change in that industry. And I'm just going to keep going and passing my ideas along to them because I think it's worth it. Just because, again, this gave me life doesn't mean I have to stop living my life. And that's what I keep promoting. So I hope that sort of helps people out the extra challenge that I have to go through.
Yeah, something tells me that you're going to crack that at one point in time. So you're very persistent.
So.
You're very persistent. So where's the show going to be when you step on stage?
It will be it's in Florida and it's in Fort Lauderdale.
So it's in Fort Lauderdale, and
yes.
Are you going to have any of your friends there?
I don't know yet at this point. I have a lot of competitor friends. And some of them are doing shows, so it's hard to like say, hey, can you go? And they may be doing a show kind of thing. So I'm just going to wait till 2 weeks out and find out actually who can go with me. Because everyone, like when you're doing a show, weeks, months out, yeah, I'm going to be there. I want to be there. And then something happens. And it's just part of the industry. It's just we get so busy on different things. So just waiting for 2 weeks out, but I'll definitely have a few people there.
All right, I asked that for very specific reasons, and I'll let you know at some time in the future why
no problem.
I asked that questions. So I did. So you're looking forward to getting on stage. It's like you're chomping at the bit here, right? It's like you have something to prove. You want to prove, and that's okay. Sometimes in life, that's a good thing.
See, I've always been that kind of person that. Even though like this sport is about your body and yourself, I always feel that you've got to have another purpose in life. So for me, my purpose to get on stage, of course, I want to win. I mean, who doesn't? And show the best package that you can. But I also want to show that I'm a survivor and to inspire you to do things that you may thought that you could have never done until you heard my story. So now I feel like I'm on a mission. Yes, it's competition, it's getting on stage and it's going for that prize. But no matter what happens, I'm winning because I'm showing people that I'm a survivor and you could survive too. So that makes it a little bit different than maybe a lot of other competitors who are focused on the prize and so on. I'm focused on that and inspiring at the same time.
Is that your main purpose right now, is to inspire others?
Yes, that's my ultimate goal. I was asked on a different podcast, what's your end game, if you will? And a lot of people say, you know, I want to start this business or, you know, obtain this certification or whatever. And those things are great. Don't get me wrong. But my thing is to inspire. That's my ultimate goal. Now, whether it's by doing a show or becoming a public speaker of those things, those are just the tools to help me inspire others. And that is my ultimate goal.
Interesting. I have something else that we're going to be discussing afterwards. So I got ideas.
Okay.
You're going to be on, you know, you're going to be on the big stage in a lot of different types of things. I like this. I like this give and take that we have going on. What are some of your other goals that you want to accomplish outside of getting on the bodybuilding stage? And besides the inspiration, is there any other personal goals that you have?
Honestly, those are my main goals for inspiring. I really would like to have a platform that I can push my ideas out and to share with people. That's really where my personal goal is. I would like to retire soon. I hope my boss isn't hearing that, but I would love to retire soon and really focus fully on that aspect of my life. And like when I almost died last year and I recovered and everything, and I wasn't sure exactly where life would take me, I just let it go as I was recovering, is the same as this path. I know I want to inspire people. I love speaking. I love being a leader. I'm just going to see how the universe takes me. I know that may sound cheesy, but I really feel the universe has a path for me, and that's where I'm going to follow.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I have thoughts that we'll discuss afterwards. So we're almost done here.
Okay.
If you can say something to somebody who's going through a very difficult time and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're on stage and you see this person and you ask them what's going on and they tell you, all eyes are on you, what are you going to say?
I just want to make sure I understand. So there's a person that's going through something, and how would I inspire them?
Yeah. How are you going to inspire them? I mean, you're a motivational speaker now, and you're on the stage. Just by way of an example, Cheryl, and you know, there's somebody that's sitting in the front of the audience. You know, they're hunched over. You know, they got some tears coming out of their eyes. They just, you know, and you see that there's something wrong. You know, you see, and then you just kind of single them out a little bit, and they tell you that there's this horrible, terrible thing going on. What are you going to say to them?
You know,
what are your thoughts?
What I truly believe when someone's going through a difficult time is to focus. I mean, you have to battle whatever you're battling. I mean, you can't get away from that, but you got to put your mindset on overcoming whatever it is. You got to put your full energy in there, but you have to focus on also that something better is going to happen. And the first thing people are going to say is like, oh, I lost my house or financials or something, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. But it's not up to you to figure out how you're getting out of it, or in the sense of what's going to happen at the other end, because you never know the good stuff that's going to happen. Focus on getting out of what you need to, and the good stuff will happen. You just can't control it. You can't say, oh, because I'm going through this. Okay, perfect example is, for me personally, I'm going on stage and I almost died. Okay. And now I'm in the hospital and I don't know how I'm going to recover. And you could be in that kind of situation. You could have something like really drastic going on. And at that moment in my life, if I kept stressing out and saying, I'll never get back on stage, I'll never look good, I'll never, I've already told myself that game over. So instead of fighting those negative feelings, instead of going through all of that kind of stuff, focus on recovering. Focus on whatever you have to do. Because I guarantee you, when you do that, you're going to come out better on the other side. And I would explain what happened to me. I didn't know that I would get out of the hospital, and I didn't know that my body would respond so well, and I didn't know that I'd get back on stage. There was 1% chance that this was all going to happen, but I believed in myself. And that's the key. You've got to believe in yourself. Stop focusing on the negative. Believe in yourself. You're such a great person. I could sit there and I could, when I talk to people who are down and out, Dan, I could see so many positive things in them, even though they can't see it. And that's what they need. They need to hear the positive things about them. And once they hold on to that positive thing, it can get them through all that crap. But that's what they need. And that's why they need people like me to inspire them to see the things that are already in them. See, the thing is then it's like, I'm not making stuff up, but I'm showing you something that you can't see because all of this negative stuff is happening to you right now. You just can't see the positive stuff inside you. And that's what you need.
And you're going to be that catalyst for change for that, so they can see that through your own experiences and so forth. I love that. So when is the show? What date is the show?
They changed it. It's actually November 19th. It was originally the 20th, and they moved it up a day. So in bodybuilding world, it's like, I got to get ready a little bit earlier.
So now you have to change a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah, change a little bit, but it's all good. I'm happy about it. I plan to spend the weekend down there, just taking in some sun and chilling out afterwards, and then, figuring out my next game plan. But I'm sure you and I will be talking about some things, and public speaking is definitely something I would love to do, because I have a lot of things to share with people.
And I love that. I think that's great. And we're gonna try to schedule to have something done, another mini cast, because you're going to be busy, I think, before the 19th. Let's see if we can make that happen. And then after the 19th, when you get back, or unless you're on the beach and you're gonna get your phone, and we'll do something from the beach, which is always good. So I'll be jealous.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It'll be cold here in New Jersey and so forth and so on. So
I don't think I'll be wearing a sweater or anything. Definitely in November. We'll still be maybe mid 80s. I mean, if that's too warm.
All right. I used to like you. Now I don't like you.
I know.
It's the way it goes. So this is really inspirational. And I want to, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for coming on and continuing on telling us your story, because it's inspirational to me. If you didn't know, it is inspirational to me, and it's inspirational to our audience here. And it's something that we're going to continue on with. So we're going to have you back on before the 19th, and after the 19th, want to get your experience of being on the stage and how you felt having a bag up there, and what was that like, and all of that. So I want to thank you for being on again today. It's an honor and a privilege truly to have you here and to drop these pearls of wisdom on not only to me, but to a lot of people that are going to be listening to this. So thank you very much, Cheryl.
Thank you.
So for all of you who are listening today, go, and as I said, I gave you some of the social media handles. Go, if you haven't listened to part 1, part 2, part 3, this is part 4. If you haven't listened, please listen in. And when you're down and out, pop one of these in, and it's going to get you going. So, again, I want to thank everybody for listening. Cheryl, thank you very much. Let's spend a few minutes now. I have a couple of questions outside, and it's just been an honor and a privilege to have you on here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for being here, and we will see you the next time. Live your best life. Thank you very much.